Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to talk more about narrative techniques in Sivasankara Pillai's In the Flood. So in the previous session we talked about personification and anthropomorphism, and today we are going to talk about foreshadowing. The word itself contains a clue as to what it means. Fore means something that will happen at some point in the future, and shadowing means a reflection. So foreshadowing sort of means that things that are going to happen later is hinted at the previous point in time. So the dictionary definition of foreshadowing is this: the organization and presentation of events and scenes in a work of fiction or drama so that the reader or observer is prepared to some degree for what occurs later in the work. So the narrative itself prepares the reader or the observer as to what they can expect later in the story. So foreshadowing can be part of the general atmosphere of the work. It can provide the ambience, or it can be a specific scene or object that gives a clue or a hint as to a later development in the plot. So it could be, as I said, a general tone in the narrative that would suggest as to what is going to happen later, or it could be a specific scene or an object in the narrative which will hint about the things that are going to happen later for the central characters or for the plot. For example, floods imply deaths by drowning, and George Eliot's Mill on the Floors is a classic example in the case of foreshadowing. Now, in the context of our story for this week, In the Flood, what are all the examples of foreshadowing in the story? Firstly, and the most obvious one, is death by crocodile, and it is suggested in the appearance of this creature at the very initial stages of the plot. And death by drowning is also suggested when the dog falls into the waters when it attacks the thieves. So if you remember the incident, there is a big battle between the dog and the thieves, and when the dog attacks or bites one of the thieves, it falls into the water, and that suggests, or there is a foreshadowing in the narrative there as to what's going to happen later for the dog. And we know, since we have read the story, we know that the dog falls into the waters when it tries to eat from a carcass, and it drowns and is eaten by crocodiles. There's another example of foreshadowing in the story, and it happens when a snake enters the hut of Chenan. So the snake's entry into the hut foreshadows the appearance of the thieves who rob Chenan's dog. So the snake sort of hints at these intruders who are going to rob the property of Chenan. And again, the floating of carcass is also a foreshadowing of the grim ending for the dog. The dog itself will become one of the carcasses that will float on the floodwaters nearby Chenan's hut. Now, let's look at other aspects of narrative techniques that are employed in Sivasankara Pillai's story, and I want to talk about motif. Motif is nothing but a symbolic image or idea that appears frequently in the story. So it's a sort of a recurrent pattern. It could be a recurrent image or a recurrent idea or a recurrent symbol. And motifs, as I said, can be symbols, sounds, actions, ideas, or even words themselves. The cry of the dog, the repetitive cry of the dog, which resembles a human cry, can also be a motif. And the idea of being rescued or not rescued, which is also repeated in the story, is also a very interesting motif. Now let's look at some functions of a motif. Motifs, according to critics, strengthen a story by adding images and ideas to the theme present throughout the narrative. So the central concerns of the story are strengthened by these motifs or patterns, these narrative patterns. So we can ultimately define a motif as an idea that recurs in or pervades or that kind of instills or fuels the entire work of art or literature. Now, a very classic example of a motif is the boat. The boat appears several times, in fact 4 times in the context of Chenin and his dog altogether. So it occurs for the first time to rescue Chenin and his family, and 3 times after that to deny rescue to his dog. So this recurrent appearance of the boat is very, very interesting and significant in terms of the larger thematic ideology of the story. Now, what does the boat stand for? It easily stands for wealth, because only the wealthy possess a boat in the story, in the story, in the plot. And it also symbolizes safety. Of course, only if there is a boat during flooding, you will be saved. And the implication is that the boat stands for survival, ultimately. So the boat in the case of Chenin's dog case stands not for survival but denial of security, and consequently the boat comes to symbolize death itself, because it refuses life. The boat is there on the scene but it refuses succor to the dog. Now, a symbol is nothing very different from a motif, but let's take symbol distinctly and talk about it and understand the different symbols in the story very specifically. So a symbol is an object or an element incorporated into a narrative, included in a narrative to represent another concept or concern. So one thing stands for another thing. That in short is the definition of a symbol. Symbols typically recur or happen throughout a narrative and offer critical information about events, characters, and the author's primary concerns in telling the story. So the symbols kind of give you a hint about why certain things are included in the story and what could be the larger consequences for the inclusion of certain elements or certain objects or certain scenes in the story. A very first example that occurs to me is the frog. We can see the frog itself as a key symbol in the story. And what does the frog do? If you remember the story, the frog, frightened by the movements of the dog that's left alone on the rooftop, jumps into the water, into the flood waters, but before that it urinates on the face of the dog. So it's a kind of an insult that it offers to the existence of the dog, and it parallels the behavior of the thief who attacked the dog. So if you remember the story, the thieves come to rob Chenin's property, and when the dog protects the home by attacking the thieves in turn retaliate by violently beating the dog. So it's an insult. There is an insult aspect to the violence that the thieves offer to Chenin's dog. And now again, the crocodile is also a very crucial symbol in the story. It stands for something very, very interesting in the larger canvas of this story world. The insidious nature of the crocodile that gently brushes past the dog at the beginning of the story is hidden in its apparent stealth, silence, and its unobtrusive manner of moving about in the waters. So the crocodile, on a very obvious level, is very gentle. It moves very gently past the dog at the beginning, and it is very stealthy, it's very silent, and it is very unobtrusive. It's not very interfering in a very obvious manner. So but this is not the real story in terms of the crocodile. The crocodile is a terribly dangerous creature, and the dog knows that, which is why it starts to whine and bark when it notices the crocodile gently floating past. But the crocodile could also stand for the benign nature of human beings. Human beings can appear in a very, very benign manner, but hidden underneath that apparent benign or benevolent appearance could be something that's very brutal or violent. So the crocodile stands for that apparently innocent exterior of people. as I said, the men who arrive in boats within view of the dog but do nothing are akin to the crocodile. So there is a parallel there between the behavior of the men who arrive on the scene but they don't actually do something. And they also resemble, the crocodile also resembles the threat that human beings pose while appearing benign to the vulnerable and weak. So appearances are deceptive. So that is the larger meaning hidden in the symbolic value of the crocodile. Now let's look at the dog. Chennan's dog is also a really significant symbol in the story. Many of us know that dogs stand for loyalty, steadfastness, love and courage. But in the context of the story, the dog is also a stand-in for the figure of Chennan. So the dog can also symbolize this person, the pariah from the lowest of the low. The dog here fights to protect the home for Chennan, as Chennan would have fought to protect his home. So there is a parallel again between the master and the master's dog. The dog's fate represents the fatal possibility for Chennan if he had not been rescued by his neighbors. So Chennan has been lucky, but what if he had not been rescued is the story that the dog suffers in the rest of the narrative. Now let's do a little bit of close reading to draw certain significant implications for the purpose and the function of the dog in this story. So this is the passage that I'm really interested in terms of doing a close reading for you. Let me read the small passage there. Many of the locals had fled their homes and made their way to dry land. If the family owned a boat, one of them would remain behind to guard their house and their possessions. So even if a family had owned a boat, not all of them would have left their home behind and flee to safety. Here it says that one of them would stay behind to guard the house and the possessions from robbers. So let's ask certain questions to this very interesting set of ideas here. So the questions that arise to me are: did Chennan's master leave his servant and his family to guard his possessions? So that possessions that we are talking about in terms of Chennan, such as his 5 banana trees and his hayrick, are those Chennan's or are those the property of his master that Chennan is guarding? So that's one question that comes to my mind. The other question is, did Chennan leave his dog deliberately to protect the possessions that he is leaving behind? So these are some of the questions that crop up, but we do not know the answers to these questions because the narrator is not very transparent about all these ideas that could pass through Chennan or his master's mind. Now, dogs can symbolize any human being, and in the case of this particular story, the dog represents anybody who is helpless and who is left to suffer alone in despair. The howls of the dog are comparable to human groaning and sobbing in the backdrop of loneliness and despair during the harsh weather. So the dog, Chennan's dog, is a representative for the entire section of people who are left behind by the powerful to despair in isolation and without any kind of help that would rescue them from their critical situation. Now let's collect all the symbols, motifs, and see what their thematic implications are. So we had a look at what the boat stands for, the frog, the crocodile, and the dog. So ultimately my interpretation would be that our society is deeply divisive, and in terms of distress, the weakest are usually disrespected, rejected, and destroyed. And those seem to be the messages that are woven through all these narrative techniques that Sivasankara Pillai employs in the flood. Now, In this part of my lecture, I would like to employ Khuswant Singh's ideas about the short story to the plot or the story of In the Flood and see the implications there. Now, what does Khuswant Singh say about the short story? For him, a great short story must be built around one incident or a series of incidents illustrating one theme. There should be unity of theme there, according to Khuswant Singh, or it should portray one character or the equation between that one character and other characters around him or her. So, unity is the general theme of this particular point made by Khuswant Singh on what a great short story should look like. In the Flood sticks to this logic, in my understanding. It captures the circumstances of Chenan initially and his dog's dire situation during a massive flood. So, there is a specific number of characters and they are united by this larger incident of flooding. The equation between Chenan's dog and the others reveals the nature of society in this story. So, that is the implication of weaving a story around one or two characters who are affected by a particular set of events. And through such a weaving of a narrative, the non-benign nature or the malevolent nature of life is made evident or apparent in the context of this particular story. The second point that Khuswant Singh makes is this: a short story can be as fantastic and its characters and situations as fanciful as the writer cares to make them, provided they have the ring of truth and a message to convey. So, the characters and situations can be fanciful, they can be almost non-realistic, they can be fantastical, but they should have the ring of truth, an appearance of truth and a message for the readers to take away from that particular story. So, let us see what happens in the case of In the Flood. In the Flood definitely has a ring of truth. The backdrop to the story is the monsoons and the heavy rains and the flooding that is quite recurrent in the context of the region of Kerala. And some critics say that in the background of the Great Flood, Thagari, that is Sivasankara Pillai, portrayed not only the tragic elements of a dog, but also the tragedy made by the flood of 1924 in Kuttanadu. So, according to these critics, Sivasankara Pillai kind of captured the tone, the mood and the ambience created by the Great Flood of 1924 in the state of Kerala, especially in Kuttanadu. So we know that tragedy of a dog is quite possible during such floods. So, there is definitely a realistic perspective to the story. So, what is the message then? The message clearly seems to be that tragedy strikes the weak, the outcast and the different. We need to remember that the dog is the other, someone who is non-human in a very, very literal manner. Of course, we should also realize that the writer is using the dog more as a symbol for the outcast, the weak and the different, rather than more specifically as a different species per se. So, this idea of the dog being the other is something that many could not sympathize with. So, it is difficult for people to sympathize with the dog because it is very, very different to them. So, we need to keep that in mind. The last point that Khuswant Singh suggests is that a great short story should have or must have, like a scorpion sting in its tail, a curlicue which sums up the story. A curlicue is nothing but a curl, a twist, which would sum up the story in a thematic fashion or in an ideological way. Now, let us look at the twist in the Flood. So, let us see what is the ending like in the Flood. This is the last section of the story. One day, Chenan swam across to the spot where his hut had once stood, looking for his dog. Under one of the coconut trees, he saw the corpse of a dog gently rocking in the eddies of the shallow water. Chenin turned it over with his foot to check if it was his dog. He thought it might be. One of the animal's ears was missing. You couldn't even tell what color the dog was, for its skin had rotted and sloughed away. So this is the closing section of the story, and if there is a twist, we might look for the twist here. My interpretation of this passage is that, or my the thing that kind of struck me when I read this passage is that Chenin uses his feet to turn around the corpse of his loyal dog, one that fought to protect his master's home, Chenin's home and goods, as long as it was possible for the dog to do so. So for me, the jarring aspect is the usage of his foot to turn over the corpse of his dead dog. Of course, you might say that it's a dead thing anyway, and you wouldn't use your hands to touch something that is so apparently gross. But then we need to think about the larger story that we have read, and the the thought process or the emotions or the dire circumstances that the dog has suffered. So we have all those narratives in front of our eyes. So having those ideas in mind, if we compare the dog situation to Chenin's action, there is a slight element of contradiction there in terms of the way Chenin relates to the dog. So for me, perhaps this is where the sting is, or you could ask, is the sting in the fact that the loyal dog died tragically? So these are some of the questions that we can ruminate upon and seek answers to, speculate on these questions and find answers in keeping in mind the larger context of the story that Sivasankar Pillai has given to us. The other very interesting thing to keep in mind is the nature of omissions. There are omissions in the short story. A short story is a genre that doesn't give you everything. It just gives you glimpses into a human being's life. So it's just a window. We don't have an entire entire range of emotions and thought process in a short story, unlike in the case of a novel. So what does Henry James have to say about tactical omissions? He says that tactical omissions suggest and imply meaning rather than stating it directly. So there are only implications rather than direct statements in short stories. So we do not know the thoughts of Chenin on having left his dog in a marooned hut. The narrator doesn't give us those thoughts of Chenin, so that we kind of hit the blank wall when we want to find out what Chenin thinks about having left his dog behind. And we also do not know the thoughts of Chenin on having lost his dog to the floods. So if we look at the passage there is nowhere mentioned what Chenin actually things in terms of the loss. The only reference to thought is here. Chenin turned it over with his foot to check if it was his dog, and he thought it could be his own dog. Apart from this, there is no suggestion there's no suggestion to tell us that Chenin is feeling the pain for having lost his dog. So as I said, the usage of his foot to turn over the corpse is a jarring gesture in the context of the gentle movements of its body in the shallow waters. Again, this is a very interesting contrast brought out by the writer here. Here we have the dog that's being gently rocked by the shallow waters, and here we have a human being turning over the corpse using his foot. So there is a contrast there between nature, Mother Nature, and a human being who has a set of hierarchical ideas in his mind and who uses his foot to look at his dead loyal dog. So the implication is that the dog continues to be an insignificant creature till the end. So this is something that we need to keep in mind. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you in the next session.